been held at Timwell Mills. They've very kindly, along with Mark Bradshaw, he's organised a couple of things with us, but he's arranged with them to hold the fashion show, and the proceeds and donations will go to their ambulance, which is very, very kind of them. We're very grateful, and Timwell Mills as a whole. But yeah, it should be good fun.
It should be good fun. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But the air ambulance service itself, how long have you been with it?
I started as a bank flyer for them, so initially taking people over. It'll be 3 years in January. But yeah, I've done something in some capacity with them for the last 3 years, and yeah, thoroughly enjoy it. It's a really good team, really good atmosphere to be part of, and yeah, I think we provide a really good service for the people of the islands who need it, and it's one of the worst times of their lives when they do need us, but we try to make it as smooth and as little stress for them as possible, so it's good to be part of.
And how does it actually operate then practically? Because I'm sure a lot of people will be aware of it but don't maybe know how the service actually operates.
So it's a fixed wing service, so it's a plane that we use. It's based on the island. The company, it's not our plane per se. Every couple of years we'll tender for the company. At the minute it's IAS, and the plane's based on the island. Crews available, they're based on the island, and change off every so often. But the medical staff who go on is primarily nurses, a couple of paramedics, there's anaesthetists if we need them, midwives, neonatal staff, but primarily it's nurses and paramedics, and it's a hospital service. So someone comes into Nobles with our biggest is cardiac issues, and if it's something that they would require treatment across, then we would get them to the UK hospital. Usually Liverpool Heart and Chest is the one for cardiac, to receive whatever treatment is going to give them the best outcome.
Which is incredible, really. So, God forbid if I keeled over the heart attack, I would be taken flown straight across to get the best treatment going.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people in the island, unless you've been touched by the service in some way, then they don't actually know it's there. And people recover really, really well because they can still get the treatment despite the fact that it isn't available on island. And because of numbers, we don't see enough here that we would have a specialist. Even if we did have a specialist here, they wouldn't see enough to keep their skills. So it's so important that we've got those links and that we can get there. And our travel time from bed to bed is usually under 2 hours, unless there's a reason why we need to make it a bit longer. But no, it's pretty incredible when you think about what goes on in that short space of time, how quick we can get someone from A to B in a safe way.
And how many people would normally fly with the patient?
Normally it's 1-to-1, so you'll have one transfer practitioner looking after one patient. Occasionally, if we need to get people across and the patients are well in themselves, or they've been at Nobles for a little while and it's for a procedure to be planned, but we don't want to leave it long enough for them to go to an outpatient, then there might be 2 patients on board, or it might be that we've got 1 patient but we've got 2 transfer practitioners. It all depends what the patient needs and how we're best going to look after them.
And is the plane, the air ambulance itself, is it specially kitted out?
So it's a King airplane. In the back we've got, the way it normally sits is with 1, 2, 4, 5 seats, and the equipment so that we can fit in our aeroslide, which is essentially a bed that's kitted out so that we can put over what equipment we need, and the top of that can be added onto like the ambulance stretchers. It fits into the plane securely, and then on the other side again the patient can stay on the bed for the whole time that we're transferring them if that's what's best for them, and go into the other ambulance trolley in the stretcher in the UK. It's quite an interesting piece of kit, and it can be adapted depending on what we need. And but no, it's a very interesting. Again, the plane can be changed around if we need something different. Then we let them know this is what we need, and they'll change everything round about. But yeah, it's very adaptable.
And you fly yourself then? Do you need specialist training, I assume, to actually do this job?
So the basic is that you're a registered healthcare professional with some experience. I think it's 2 years experience normally. On top of that, the island runs its own air ambulance course when there's a need for, whether it's midwives or whichever practitioner. They'll do it. It's usually a 2-day course, and then from there you'll go on and do buddy flights. So you'll fly with an experienced transfer practitioner, see how it works. Then gradually it'll be a case of you doing more until you're assessed as competent to be able to fly on your own. But there is other training out there as well. So I'm CCAT trained. I went to the UK and got a formal qualification so that it's a way of upskilling just to make sure that patients are getting the best care that we can provide.
And presumably it's got to be someone who likes flying a lot.
Yeah, it's one of those. If you don't like flying, it's probably
it's
not
going to be a good start. It's something you've always enjoyed doing?
Yeah. I moved over to the island to nurse, and it's an opportunity I maybe wouldn't have come up with had I stayed in the UK, but I absolutely love it. I can't imagine doing anything else.
Which is wonderful. And you're mentioning the kit and whatever, and the service itself. It's a wonderful service, as we'll be hearing, a vital service for the Isle of Man. And again, it's one of those ones you think how lucky we are to be here on an island. And like I said, if something serious happened to someone, there's this service here where, like you say, 2 hours and you can be getting pretty much the best treatment available in the UK, which I think is an amazing thing. Presumably it comes at a cost.
Yeah. Everything does cost, and it's a service that has to be there. As you say, we live on an island. There has to be a way to get to the UK to get those. And like you say, 2 hours. Even certain parts of the UK, you wouldn't be able to get to those hospitals by road ambulance in those times. And
so is it flying mostly to Manchester and Liverpool? Or?
Yeah, primarily Liverpool, occasionally Manchester, but we can go, depending what the patient needs and where we're told is the best place for them to go. We will go to the nearest airport and get them there.
So how is it funded then? Is it purely charitable? Is the government put money in as well? Bit of both?
No, it's the government pays for the service. They fund like the contractors and the service providers. Donations are gratefully received, and they tend to go to one of 3 things: either patient comfort, just to try and make it, although everything's safe, just try and make it a little bit nicer for patients having to travel. I say it's one of the worst times most people's lives having to use the service. It's trying to make it a bit more friendly, not quite as scary. That sort of thing. Nurse education, like I've spoke about, we are educated on the island, but there is other training out there. Things change all the time, and medical training, it changes as quick as any other part of medicine. So that's another part. Or there is equipment, again, like any medical device. As soon as you say medical, and then on top of that you say that it has to be flight safe, so it's aeromedical, adds on the cost. So although we have the things that we need, when those things are updated and it could be of benefit, then it's something that we put donations to as well, if we can make it better.
And this is what we're coming to. This fashion show coming up is indeed raising funds for exactly this purpose, presumably to make a really already excellent service absolutely brilliant, and make it as good as possible for those who need the service.
Yeah, absolutely. As I say, we're so grateful for any of the donations and the things that people do like this for us, and then to be able to put the money towards doing something for our patients or to make the service better. But yeah, the fashion show sounds, I think this one's going to be good fun. We're really grateful for Tim Mills for putting it on for us. Try not to take ourselves too seriously.
So it's this Thursday, 30th of September, at Tim Mills, of course. Everyone knows where that is, down in St John's. It's the winter collection launch of new brands and ranges in store. And, of course, if you go along, there's a buffet supper, drinks when you get in there, all that sort of stuff. Now, are you actually taking part?
Yes. We didn't know what we were signing up for at the time. Our lead she's got a very persuasive personality. She asks for volunteers, and as I say, although we don't work together all the time, we tend to be solo practitioners. We have a really good team, and when we were asked to do something, then we're like, yeah, that's fine, no matter. To the best of my knowledge of the people who volunteered, nobody's pulled out once they've found out, but it's not something that most of us would normally do.
No, but you could be on the catwalk in some new winter collection stuff.
Yeah, so something a bit different, try it. As I say, not taking ourselves too seriously, and it's a way to show that we're really, really grateful for people doing this for us. So
Absolutely. Terrific fun and raising fun. You could be a whole new career, who knows? You might get a taste for it.
maybe not for me, maybe some of the others.
Better still, if anyone goes along, I'm assuming this applies to you as well, if you fancy buying something on the night, you get 10% off all purchases on the evening.
You do, yeah. Any ticket sales go along on the night, and 10% off anything that you buy.
It sounds terrific fun. It's £20 per person, and bearing in mind you're raising money, you're having a cracking night out, you're seeing all the fashion stuff coming in, you're seeing Gemma strut her stuff down the catwalk as well. You've got Christy de Haven hosting the whole thing, and I believe she is also modelling. So she tells me she's been asked if she might model a few things while she's doing the hosting, or I don't know, put on some sort of outfit which will be included in the evening, and you get drinks and something to eat as well. I mean, it sounds like what's not to like type night, doesn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be good. So.
It's going to be terrific fun. Okay.